Hello guys, welcome to another video. So for today, we'll be trying to work on this particular slider in React. And to achieve this, we'll be using framer motion to achieve this particular animation. Using framer motion and also Vite and the React plugin to achieve this. I'll be leaving the link to the design, to the Figma design, and also link to the repo in the video description. Without wasting much time, let's start building. Okay, guys, let's start building. So for this particular project, we're using React Vite. So we're using Vite, and the particular plugin we'll be using is React. You could go ahead and use Next.js or some other React library. For this particular video, we'll just be using Vite. Let's quickly spin up our project from scratch. We're just gonna call this intro slider, and we have to choose a framework. Making use of React, remember, right? And for this, we're just using basic React. Quickly open this up now. Let's open this up in VS Code. Okay, so the next thing we need to do, we need to install efficiencies. Also, remember, making use of framer motion for the animation. Let's quickly put that up. Framer motion. Let's wait while that install. And also for styling, we're using Tailwind CSS. You could also use CSS or SAS CSS. I just prefer using Tailwind CSS so we can get started very fast. So the particular library we're making use of is Vite, and these are the instructions to install CSS with. Let's go back and see what we have. This is installing. Wait, we're back. Installed. We could quickly say yarn dev. Let's open this up and look at host we currently have. So we should have just a basic React and Vite example. So we just have a basic example of Vite and React. So let's first set up Tailwind CSS on this project. Let's quickly do this. Open up on that instance of our terminal. Let's install this. And also let's take this to the next line. Install. So right now we're trying to set up Tailwind CSS in our project. It says index of CSS. Let's take in this. We should be, I think we still have some like basic codes here, right? Some starter codes. Let's take that out. Let's take out this too. So I think we're almost there for setting up Tailwind CSS. Let's copy this content from documentation and go into our Tailwind config. Should be somewhere around here. This is it. Then replace the content with this, I think, and let's refresh this. And for this to work, we need to restart our server, dev, and yeah. So to confirm we have Tailwind CSS this application. Let's quickly go into our app components. We need to do some cleaning up on this component. Let's take out most of these parts. We just take out everything here. Right, put this. So this is just an hello world with the text of 30 pixels. Let's quickly see this. Yeah, so we have this, right? That is confirmed because it says underline. That's to confirm Tailwind CSS is installed in our application. So good. So the next thing we need to do, we need to install framer motion. And let's open up our terminal again. Let's say yarn add framer motion. Okay, while that is installing, let's quickly look at what we're building again. So this is just an image of what we're building. As you can see, we have three containers, which is the blue, red, and yellow. And we have some text inside each of the container and some images, right? So the first step of what we'll be trying to do, we're trying to just work on the base layout of this, which is having just three containers on a particular row. And I think this should be a custom text. Yeah, I think we'll need to get that from the font too. We get there. Yeah, so this is how, and this is what we'll be building. Okay, so I think we should be ready to start building. Oh, there's an error. Okay, so let's restart. Let's restart. Let's try installing again. This should be quick. Okay, this is installed. Okay, so I think we have Tailwind CSS installed. We have framer motion installed too, which is a good start for us right now. So let's put this up, and I think we are good to go. Okay, let's continue. Next, what we need to do, we need to bring in assets, which is just issues, right? Just want to get them, and let me quickly grab them. Okay, so we have three images. We have the three images we need, which is okay. So let's continue building. First off, let's just create a new component inside here. We're gonna call this slider, right? So what we'll just be doing inside this component is working on this particular slider, right? Okay, first off, we're just gonna import our images and also just create an array objects containing details, right? Of the image again. So see. I hope this is big enough. Okay, so we have blue, red, and yellow. Those are the texts, and we have their background colors too, right? Which is representing hex. Next, hexadecimal. Let's represent this data on. Let's quickly say data, and remember we just have to map through it and carry it on in JSX for each of them. For now, let's just put it on each one here, right? That's just gonna be our name, right? And add a little class of the text dash black so we could see what we have. And at the same time, also add our image. I think this should be inside a particular div. Let's say image source is equal to dot image, which is the direct location of the image in our code base. Also add an alt for accessibility. Our alt will just be. Let's format this so it looks good. So far, let's quickly see. Let's have a preview of what we currently have. Let's reach, and we can't see nothing, right? Simply because we haven't imported this component into the parent component here, right? Let's take this out. A slider been imported. At this point, we should see it. Okay. So we have our images, the images 1, 2, 3. Then we have our text. Let's make the text look a little bigger for now. Let's just say a text of like 100 pixels for starting. Okay, so we have blue, red, and yellow. Okay. Let's quickly add a class here too. Or let's add first. The key will just be the name. This is a unique identifier. So next, remember, right, this has to be on a particular row, and each of them should have the background color. And the background color is all defined. The background color is defined in a particular array of objects for each individual column. Let's quickly do that. We could just use an inline style that says one color is just going to be a string of a value, which is i.pg. We have all our background colors looking nice. Now we need to be able to place this on one row. For that, just be using CSS flex. Say flex to take each of the item into, and there's an error somewhere in our code base. Let's quickly see that. Close tag wasn't defined properly. Okay, cool. So we have blue, red, yellow. Blue, red, yellow. We could say each of these items should be, we want it to contain the whole screen, right? H.screen. Okay, cool. So we have blue, red, and yellow. So let's make this white. Now the font bold of extra bold. We need something very thick. And also we also need it to be uppercase. Blue, red, yellow. Cool. So this is getting there. Now we want this text. Right, to be at the center of this particular container. And how are we gonna do that? How can we achieve that? Because if you see the design, we have it in the middle, and the image of the shoe is just floating like on top of it. So how are we going to get such effect? Okay, so to do that, we also need to make it a flex again. We'll do that on this part, on the parent for each of the child, right? So say this should be a flex, then we're going to justify content center, then item dash center. Okay, cool. This is we have our text in the center here. Let's have a look of the design again. Blue, red, yellow. Okay, so now the first thing we need to do to the image container here, we need to take it out of the flow of the page so it stays. And for us, I would just say it should be absolute of this particular page, right? And now this is acting up. This is weird, but this is all right. To get a particular or a desired effect, let's add a width of like 604 pixels. This should do it. And also take out every overflow. We don't want to see any overflow on this page. Okay, so we're getting there. We're almost there. Okay, so we have a flex. We have under flex here, right? This is for the child. This is the parents. We have an absolute here. Let's quickly say this should be a relative to make it look the right way, right? And we have a white space here. Now I'm wondering, why do we have that? Let's quickly look at this code again. Let's take out this width and see the width be. Okay, so this should be a flex 1 for starters, right? Yeah, so this should be a flex 1. So flex 1, what flex 1 actually does is just the flex base, right? Basics. Yeah, we are almost there. We have our image, we have our images, and also the text. I think at this point we're halfway there. And the next thing we need to do right now is let's quickly bring in the font, because this font we're currently using is not the right font, right? And doesn't really work. Let's quickly go to Google Fonts and see what we bring up. The particular font we need to just be Montserrat. sans should do what we want, and we are going for tickets, and also the one that's italic, which is like going for this. And let's quickly take in the import. We're taking into access intro slider CSS. Let's put it in our index. Oh, okay. Let's quickly take this out of here. Let's put this here and let's just save this. Okay, so we have a class name which we could just use on each of our H1. Let's go back and see what we have. Okay, you notice there's a difference. I don't know if you can see it. It's a difference. So we have the font. So let's start animating. So for us to be able to animate this code base, or should I say this particular website, because right now everything is static, right? Or should I say it's more like everything is just standing still. So what we want to do right now is when we hover around this particular container, it grows larger, right? And the text grows larger, and the shoe grows larger too. So let's see how we could actually do that. And okay, so first things first, let's quickly use Framer Motion. So we want to import motion.dev. Okay, so if you haven't used Framer Motion before now, I think you do need to check out a tutorial of our basic Framer Motion to understand what we'll be trying to do here. We won't be doing anything too serious or too complex. We'll just be doing the basics. I think quickly go to documentation of Framer Motion and see, or let's just search it on Google. Framer Motion gestures. What we want to do right now is this. We want to do on top of that particular component, it grows larger, and you can see an example here, right? Let's just take this example and I could just show you how Framer Motion does. Let me look for tab. Tab is the one we need. Okay, so we have while tab. So on this container now, we say why we tap on this, right? Why we tap on this, just scale 2.5. Now let's go back to our base and see what effect that does to the container. And you can see this, right? So tapping on this gives us this animation. Just be one line, like you can see the power of Framer Motion. Just be one line of code. We already have this gesture like in our application, and that's just okay. So that's what we'll be using to achieve our animation, or to achieve this particular animation. And remember how this is all arranged is we have our container, which is this, then we have our H1, and we have our image. So we need to animate each of these items. Let's quickly wrap all this in motion.h1 and also motion.dev. If you're working with Framer Motion, you always need to do this to be able to access the special props that are being exposed from Framer Motion. Let's say motion.h1. I'm sorry, this should be image. Okay, cool. Now, here comes the part. Now, the thing about Framer Motion now is what we're trying to achieve here now is when we over, or should I say when we tap on this particular component, or should I say when we tap on this particular container, not a component, we want to add animation to text and also the image at the same time. And for us to do something like that, we need to make use of Framer. So it's like you need to make use of Framer Motion for variants. Framer Motion variants, and I think we should have access to it here. Okay, I just want to show you guys what we're trying to do. Variants. Okay, so variants, like I said, I think I said in my previous videos, variants are just objects which you could reuse across your applications. Or should I say framework as objects, or containing instructions, right? Instructions for your DOM elements. Okay, oh, I want to increase the font width of this. I want to do this. I want to scale this by 2.5. Okay, so for us to do that, we could quickly start writing out the code for a particular variant. So for us to do that, so we have container variants. Let's call it container variants. Container variants, that's not spelled correctly. Just want to have a container variant, and it's just an object, right? Representing initial is just going to be, we just want to say flex1. That's not our application. We just want flex to be 1. So initial is just like your regular style, like the regular style we apply with Tailwind CSS. Like I said, initial is just regular animation. Like I said, initial is just like the style you apply on your elements, right? So we want to say initial is flex1, and let's add a value called tap. Why this is being tapped, we just increase it to like flex. And the beauty of variants, we could also add our transitions, right? We could add transition, just add a transition of duration 0.7 ease to this of ease in. type of spring for now, right? Just okay. So we have a container variance. We could if you want to use it on this particular element. So say variance. Variance is just gonna be equals to our container variance, and initial. Our initial is gonna be initial. We're gonna representing a string of initial. Okay, that makes sense. Let's quickly see what we have. Refresh this. Still have the same thing. Okay, let's take out this. So white tab, we won't be using this anymore. We'll just be using it directly from our variant. So white tab is just gonna happen only on tab, right? So like what's happening here is we're trying to use this variant directly inside this element instead of defining them here, right? You see it, right? Okay. So just with that variant, this is what we could do. Just with one variant, you can see what we could do. So I think the next variant we need to work on is text variant. I think for that we could just take this and copy it, and I'll explain what's happening here. So it's similar to what we have here. We have the initial. It's font size of 20 pixels. Remember, we already set this in our Tailwind CSS. We could take this out and say, okay, font size of 20 pixels. When we hover this, we want to make it 600 pixels. Then scale of 1. Then transition should last for like duration of 0.6 seconds. Okay, we won't really see this. We can't text anymore because remember we took out the font size. So let's quickly hook this up with our element, right? Our text variant. Now this container is a wrapper around our h1 and our image. So automatically it has access to the container variant, and what we just need to do here again is just mention variants. I'm sorry, mistake. Variant and text variant. Text variants, and I think should be okay. Register page and see. Cool. So automatically it has access to automatically our H1 now have access to this font size, which is the initial, and the scale and everything. Yeah, refresh this, and now it doesn't work because something should be missing here. Let's see this. Let's quickly debug what's happening. We have a text variant and H1. Let's take this out because we don't need all this right now. What could be the problem? Let's see. So the animation is not applying to the fonts. Now that's an issue which we're trying to debug right now. So we have variants, our text variant, right? H1 text now variants, and text variants. Okay, so there could be only one issue happening here. So the reason why this is not working simply because remember white tab, right? Like I said, this is our parent container. And every value that is being defined in our parents container should also be defined in our text, which is the child container. So this is tab, this is over, right? So that's the typo error. So just change to tab and we should be good. So now on hover, I have 600 pixels sliding. Okay. Cool. So we are not yet done. Still have one more thing to do for our image, right? We want a particular animation for our images. So where it starts from an angle of like minus 40 degree, because you can see in the image, let me make this larger. You can see in the image, right? In the peaceful state of this particular page, we just have the shoe. I think this should be a minus 40 degree, right? Then on hover, it should go to a 1 degree or 5 degree, depend on anyone, right? We'll try it and see. So let's do that let's quickly do that. So we have our container this and our variant this, our text variant. So let's quickly define this. Let's call this image variant. Let's call it image variant. So we'll just be writing this by hand. Initial. Remember, our initial is just gonna be, we're gonna rotate it, right? I'm gonna rotate this by like minus 40. Let's say minus 30 and see how that looks. Then while you tap on this particular component, what are we trying to do? We're gonna try rotating this again to something like 3 degree. Then scale this by 1.2. Then also add the transition. The transition that is just gonna be, I think I don't have the transition spelled correctly. Transition, yeah. So I think we could just even wait on the transition. Let's just see this. So we have the image variant, we have the initial, which is start of our application, rotate minus 30 degree. So this is our image. Remember, right? Let's quickly use the variants here too. Variants, image variants to application and see what we have. Okay, refresh this. Okay, cool, amazing. So we have the image, rotating, right? Yeah, what we could do right now, we could just see, we could add a little transition, some duration to image variants. So we just have 0.6 again, 0.6, and also an ease of like say ease in, ease out. I think this should also be, let's also ease in and ease out for the parents. We still leave this as string. container. Let's see this value by 9. And what can we change here? I think this is looking too down. We could change the value right now. We could say our image variance have 40. Then when it rotates it into 5. Okay, that works for us. Okay, I think we have our animation all working out as expected. And I think one last touch what I could do here, we could quickly add up this header. Let's quickly do that. I think that shouldn't take us much time. So I'll say we are kind of done with this animation. I just want to add that for this header, and this is just going to be a header component. Really straightforward. Header components. Let's put in header, semantic HTML, and have one container. I think this container here is just going to be our logo. And let's quickly bring in to be a Nike logo. Choosing it. Import obtain inside logo.s. Inside here, in our source called update, and there's some list here. Let's just be lifestyle. We release this. Let's see, we'll quickly format this. This text of white, capitalize this. So need this to be like, need it to be a font of, let's say text of like 30 pixels. 30 pixels and font of which is 600. Okay. Let's quickly use this right here. Let's use it in our parent app.jsx. Okay, cool. So we have white. These are pretty much. One wants it to have, you're in the wrong component. We don't want this to have, this should just be a flex. We don't want this to have a background of transparent. We have our text here, right? Flex. Let's add some other color first, so we can just set this property. Just a red of 300. Okay, cool. This guys too need to be flex level, and for spacing of like this x of like x5. Okay, for us. One more thing, this is already flex. Let's center each of the item. Let's justify each of the item around in each other. Flex. Okay, cool. Next thing too, we need to just remember we have a class name called this, which represents our custom fonts we had from Google Fonts. Now this is extra large. I think let's just use the default fonts we have for we're getting. Let's take this out. We don't want it to look in that way. Cool. So we have Nike, we have links, and one more thing is missing. Let's quickly bring this up again. Okay, so we need these icons, right? And these icons, we're just gonna get them as we use them. No, I think we'll just use them directly. So we have this. We have another container here. If and our deal, we just have an SVG plus SVG. We just have an SVG, and we have another SVG here, and both of these SVG should just be in line. Try to center them again and add a little spacing around each other. Okay, so that works. Let's see what we have here. So we have this is let's add more spacing between these guys. Let's say like 4. 4 is not too much. Okay, cool. We have our links. Now this should be on top of the page, right? Without any background. Do that. How can we achieve that? I think red, and let's take this up. We could add a position of fixed. This could be fixed, and we can't see it anymore, right? Z index for us. This. What was happening here? Was the header was the word now? Was at the back of this container. So adding the index of Z index of 99, which is the highest. It has the highest order ranking of items. So we could say Z50. Let's just use that. That should still work. That works. Let's make this width of 100%. Okay, cool. And this is looking too far into this. Let's add some padding left and right to like 4. This guy needs more spacing. Let's add more spacing to this guy. Space X 5 is to that number. Right. Let's add some stuff here. Let's just see sort of pointer, right? If you just try using it, so it just acts like a link. Okay, so I think that works for us. We also do the same for this. Yeah, I think we done with this animation. So we can see we are done with this animation right now. You have what through this, you have this, and you have our links. Let's quickly bring the image again and see what we currently have. If we have something similar. Yeah, cool. We have something similar, and thank you for watching. Leave a comment below if you have any doubts, any questions concerning this particular animations. Also remember the assets and the GitHub repo will be in the video description. Yeah, thank you for watching, and make sure to like, subscribe, and also share this video. Thank you.